Hi, and welcome to my channel, Math for Grade 8. So today let's talk about factor by grouping or factor by pair. Again, I am Sir Laurie of Malabon National High School. Okay, let us talk about factor by grouping. Supposing you are given a 4-term polynomial. And in this 4-term polynomial, you don't have any common factor or the GCF. If you encounter this, you have to factor this polynomial by grouping. And these are the steps. Okay, first, decide if the four terms have anything in common, called greatest common factor or the GCF. Second, create a smaller group within the problem or the polynomial. It is usually done by grouping the first two terms together and the last two terms together. Third, factor out the GCF all from each of the two groups. Then fourth, if the factor inside the parentheses are exactly the same, write the factor form. Okay, let us have xy minus 5y minus 2x plus 10. So, let us try to group the first two terms, that is xy minus 5y, okay, minus 2x minus 10. If you are wondering why it is negative 10, we usually take out the negative sign to your second group or the third and fourth term. Okay? So that is your first group and this is your second group. Okay. On the first group, y is common to each term. So that is your GCF. Okay? Now, if I'm going to divide y to your first group, it will lead us to x minus 5. Next, we have minus 2 is the common from the third term and the fourth term or your second group. Now, if I'm going to divide 2 to your second group, we can have x minus 5. In this case, we have your GCF, which is x minus 5. Now, in our previous video, we would like to have the factor form. So GCF multiplied by your derived, okay? Your derived, that is your derived polynomial divided by your GCF. Again, x minus 5 will be cancelled out and another x minus 5 will be cancelled out. So, we have here x minus 5 multiplied by y minus 2. And that is your factor form. Okay, so let us try to have a different combination. Okay, this time, I will group xy minus 2x. That is your first term and your third term. Okay? So, we have here the second group, that is your 5y minus 10. Again, we have here negative. We take out the negative sign to your second group. Okay? So, this is your second term and this will be your fourth term. Okay, on your first group, x is common. So if I'm going to divide your x to your first group, we will have y minus 2. Okay, so minus, that will be 5, which is common to 5y, and minus 10. And we will going to divide 5 to your second group, and will lead us to y minus 2. Hence, the GCF is y minus 2. Again, we're going to have the factor form y minus 2 multiplied by your derived polynomials, that will be, okay, that will be x to the quantity of y minus 2 minus 5 to the quantity of y minus 2 divided by your GCF, y minus 2, and y minus 2 can be cancelled out on the first term, and y minus 2 will be cancelled out on the second term. So what do we have? So we have x minus 5, that is your x, and that is your minus 5, multiplied by y minus 2, or your GCF, and we have the same answer. So that will be the factor form of xy minus 5y minus 2x plus 10. Okay, so let me have this. 4x squared plus 3xy minus 12y minus 6x. Okay, so let us write to group the first and second term. That will be your first term. And your second term or second group will be 12y plus 16x. Again, this is positive, negative, multiplied by a positive, that is a negative. Okay, so we actually take out the negative sign to your second group. Okay, so on the first group, we have common of x. Again, we're going to divide x to your first group. So we have 4x plus 3y minus, common from 12 and 16, that will be 4, and that will be 3y plus 4x. Hence, we can say that 3y plus 4x is equal to 4x plus 3y. That is your commutative property of addition. Therefore, your GCF will be 4x plus 3y. Okay, so let me have the factor form. Your GCF multiplied by your derived polynomial divided by your GCF. So we can see that 4x plus 3y can be cancelled out, and another 4x plus 3y can be cancelled out. So what do we have here? That is your 4x plus 3y multiplied by x minus 4. Okay, that will be the factor form. Okay, so let me have this. 2ra plus a squared minus 2r minus a. If I'm going to pair, or I'm going to group this first and second term, I do have a common factor, which is a. But if I'm going to group the third and fourth, I don't have any common factor, isn't it? Okay, so let me have this muna. So I decided to pair your first term and your second term. Okay, so that will be 2ra minus 2r. Okay, that is plus a squared minus a. Okay, so what could be the common on my first group? Yeah, okay, that is 2r. If I'm going to divide 2r to your first group, that will be a minus 1. Okay, on my second group, that is plus, okay, common is a, and I will have another a minus 1. So we have here the GCF of a minus 1. So the factor form, GCF multiplied by your derived polynomial divided by your GCF, and a minus 1 can be cancelled out and another a minus 1 can be cancelled out. Okay, hence your factor form will be a minus 1 multiplied by 2r plus a. Okay, so that is your factor by grouping or factor by pair. Now, it's your turn to try a few. So we have here x cubed minus 5x squared plus 3x minus 15. That is for number 1. And we have x squared plus ab minus ax minus bx. Okay, so you can pause this video to solve the two items. Okay, and here are the answers. Okay, so let me have the solution for the two items. Okay, so we have here x cubed minus 5x squared. That will be your first group. X cubed minus 5x squared. Okay, that will be your first group. Plus, okay, that will be 3x minus 15. Okay, so here we can have your GCF on your first group. We have x, and if this is a variable, we consider the least degree. And what is the least degree? That is your square. Okay, x square, you have to divide that by to the first group, so that will be x cubed divided by the x squared. That will be x, and x squared can be cancelled out, and that will be 5. Okay, plus, okay, common is 3, so we have here x 15 divided by 3, and that will be 5. Okay, so your GCF will be x minus 5. Okay, so GCF will be x minus 5. So let me have the other factor. So this is your first group. You have to divide that by your GCF. So x minus 5. Your second group, that will be x minus 5. Okay, so this will be cancelled out, and that will be cancelled out, and what is remain is the other factor, which is x squared plus 3. Okay, so that is the factor form for number 1. Okay, next let me have number 2. Number 2 is quite tricky. Okay, so if you will notice, a squared, your first term, and ab, your second term, doesn't have any common factor. So let me have the first term and the third term. So that will be x squared minus ax. Okay, so my second group will be the second term and the fourth term. So that will be plus ab minus bx. Okay, so on my first group, we have here the common is x. Okay, the least degree is 1, so we have here x. So we're going to have that as x minus a. Okay, plus common with two terms will be b. If I'm going to divide that, That will be a minus x. Okay, question. Do we have any common factor? Okay, so if you have watched the factoring of GCF, a polynomial by GCF, sa second on the part 2 of our video, we encounter this problem. So we can have it as a minus x, okay? So that will be a minus x. A minus x can be equal to negative 1 multiplied by x minus a. Do you agree with me? Okay? So let me have this. So this will be negative x. Okay, negative x, negative multiplied by a negative, that will be positive. Again, by your commutative property of addition, we can write that as a minus x, isn't it? Okay, so we prove that a minus x is equal to negative 1 x minus a. Okay, so we can substitute a minus x as negative 1 multiplied by x minus a. Okay, so let me have this. So we have here x minus a plus b, then substitute, that will be negative 1 multiplied by x minus a. Okay, in here we can have your GCF. Okay, let me erase the upper part for our solution. Okay, so let me copy x minus a plus b multiplied by negative 1 x minus a. Okay, so let us try to evaluate this. So we have here x minus a, positive b multiplied by a negative 1, that will be negative b, x minus a. Again, your GCF will be x minus a. Okay? So you have to divide your derived polynomial by your GCF. That will be x minus a, x minus a. Okay, so this will be cancelled out. That will be cancelled out. And what is remain, or what is left, is x minus b. Okay? Again, and that will be your factor form. Okay? So, hope this will help you in factoring of polynomials of 4 terms, and it doesn't have any common factor. Okay? So again, thank you, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.